It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound kosher by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So disinformation's origins are slightly atrocious.
Stop! Enough! Stop! I can't take it anymore. Sorry about that, folks. I know a lot of you had a long night, so let me apologize on behalf of Rowan and Rita for playing that clip, but at least it wasn't the whole of the budget ad, right? God, there's a hole in. Oh, never mind. Anyway, enough of that. But there is a reason why I did play that. And before we get back to talking about the elections, let me tell you about it. Now, if you were watching the show a couple of weeks ago, you might recall the old Scary Poppins over there, also known by her real name, Nina Jankowicz, was Joe Biden's pick to be the United States' new disinformation czar. I know, right? From First Amendment to official government narrative police in just 230 years. Well, big news. The office of the chief censor is no more, at least for the moment. Now, according to a report by Taylor Lorenz, a 30-something perpetually outraged journalist for the Washington Post, whose previous claim to fame was outing the anonymous citizen behind the brilliant Libs of TikTok Twitter account, the Biden administration is pulling the pin. Now, here's where it all gets super ironic. Lorenz, in her story, blamed, quote, far-right influencers, oh God, for pushing a fear campaign around the disinformation czar, which is a bit silly because her musical numbers are frankly scary enough. But it's also telling because to explain away the failure of the Biden administration to get up its anti-disinformation organization, they clearly relied on the Washington Post to spread some more disinformation. Now, Lorenz claims that Jankowicz, quote, has been subject to an unrelenting barrage of harassment and abuse while unchecked misrepresentations of her work continue to go viral. Oh, please. Yet the Washington Post, supposedly the ne plus ultra of journalism, doesn't back this up. As Stephen L. Miller wrote in the Washington Examiner this week, who coordinated these supposed brilliant online attacks against Jankowicz that forced Senate Democrats to cancel a hearing with her and pushed the Biden administration to cancel her entire gig? We also don't know that because Lorenz does not elaborate or back up that claim with evidence, something you would think would be quite important for a newspaper such as the Washington Post. Who knew? Anyway, it doesn't take a genius to see what is really happening. The momentum in the culture wars, at least in the US, are finally starting to go onto the side of common sense. Other news from around the traps this week, Netflix, once one of the premier pipelines for pumping woke sewage into the culture, has recently seen its share price tank. And after being mocked for a series about a man getting pregnant, has forced its employees to sign a statement that they cannot complain if, God forbid, they're forced to work on a Dave Chappelle show. They've even had to cancel 2 Ibrahim X. Kendi animated shows. God, can you imagine that? They'd be even worse than that hole in the bucket ad, including a show called Anti-Racist Baby. Because yes, even your baby is a racist who needs re-education. Meanwhile, the aforementioned Dave Chappelle is still outperforming after being attacked on stage, and Joe Rogan, remember all the confected controversy around him a few months ago? Still churning it out with 12.3 million subscribers and counting. Now, last week we talked about that salami strategy and the way the left keeps slicing away at the culture just a little bit at a time until they have us all believe it's perfectly reasonable to say 2 + 2 is 5 because, who knows, arithmetic is racist or something. But the corollary to all this is that it is possible to fight back, and the best weapon is mockery. I mean, who couldn't laugh at this?
It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie when Rudy Giuliani shared that intel from Ukraine.